All right, a little bit of a redo on this one here. Let me turn off this channel here so that there's no echo, hopefully. And show you what I'm doing here today. I'm building a scene for my Sunday morning game. This will be probably shown to my players in a couple of weeks. If they see it now, it's actually kind of all right. I don't much care. But it's turning out to be actually pretty sweet. So I'm just cutting it apart. But I wanted to showcase it a little bit just to show you guys how I put my stuff together. This is going to be one of those kind of like long videos, probably relatively boring, and best if you just fast forward it right through the video. Maybe I'll edit this video and just do like a fast forward kind of a deal on it, but this, I'll show you what I got so far. So I've taken Zovia's maps. So if I go to Zovia RPG Maps and I subscribe to her through Patreon, crack out the white right monitor and show you some of the stuff that she's done. Amazing artist, beautiful work. I love the detail and the shadows and all of this other stuff. I subscribe to it so I can get gridded and gridless ones and all of that kind of stuff. But there is a butt ton of cool, beautiful seaside maps, catacombs, ruins, caves, pyramids. I believe the stone pyramid might possibly be from one of the Dungeons and Dragons Adventure League's games. She does some sci-fi stuff. The docking bay and the ancient portal is a bit, well, maybe not sci-fi on that one there, but yeah, the docking bay is definitely. A little autumn cemetery one, which is cool for a Halloween themed kind of a deal. So yeah, not bad, man. It's freaking sweet work. But yeah, I took this gallery map, or galleon map, sorry. Let's click on this one and show you a little bit more. So I took the galleon. This is a map pack that you can get. If you subscribe on Patreon, you get one that's a little bit different. And it comes with a bunch of different stuff. I used this actually a few times in a few different games that I've played. I don't really have an image that I could show you. You can kind of see it there. This one is where it's docked with cannons and stuff like that. But what I've done is, like I always do, I've taken the bits and pieces. And here's the original map, kind of a thing. And then I've just taken that map and I've cut it into pieces. The different parts that I want for the different layers. So how this works is, here's the base layer. Once I cut the base layer and size the base layer to, 1600, if I wanted it to be the full screen, it'd be 16 by, I believe, 845. I save that image with those dimensions, and then I cut everything from that image so that when I put it back into the game, the dimensions of the image remain the same, so I can just plus or minus, and eventually it will exactly fit. I don't have to do too much farting around. So this is the second layer of the back of the ship, this part back here. But I wanted the stairs to be a separate level so that you can see that they're like stairs up. And then the top part, which is this part, is its own level as well. And then this is a third part, a third height, as well as this wheel and this stump. Boxes and crates and stuff like that you can get inside a tabletop simulator, pretty straightforward. As for the front of the boat, same thing. Here's the front piece with the mast. I left the water in here because I'll show you something goofy, but I figured I didn't know how many levels I was going to do. I should have actually just cut it out, but it's fine. So this map has the stairs in it for one level, and then this is the cutoff with the top level. And then, to add even more depth to it, I cut off the top railing. Some of the stumps, there's the steering wheel, whatever you call the thing, and then here's all the rails and the side rails for the bottom levels, and then the stairs stuff going up and down, and the different bits and pieces. And I just chopped them all out in GIMP. Didn't actually take me too long. A lot of this stuff is just, once you master GIMP a little bit better, or these are, you can, that's one cut, and then it's just poke your mouse all the way around here. Boom, the entire inside's done. You can cut it out. And yeah, it's actually not that hard to do once you get good at it. So anyways, that said, let's just get back to this and show you the map that I've been working on, and this is just going to be a video of me piecing this stuff together. So this is what I've got so far. You can see that this map is actually 4 separate levels. So this piece is the bottom level, which you can't see. Then it's just a matter of duplicating that layer to create the second layer, which is this layer. You can see up here that it's at 245, and the first layer sits in at 145, if I can get it to click on it. So 146, 245, this layer here. Why are you not grabbing this layer? That layer is still, because that's the 245 layer. My bad. Yeah, duh. All right, so that's the 245 layer. 346 should actually probably be 345. I should probably drop that down, which I'm going to do right now. F8 takes you here, and this should be 3.45, which will drop it down, making this one 4.45. And then this top layer will be 5.45. Not that it really does much, but sometimes I get to be, my OCD kicks in. And so what you'll see here is I've cut out the parts. Now this is just a stump. Actually, I want to show you something that I'm going to do here. If I go over to my right window and I cut out, I'll show you the right window, or right monitor. Takes you over to this little piece right here. Just this little stump is all the piece that I cut out. Copy image address. And then when I come back to my deal, if I go to objects, components, and I want to choose the tokens, this is all I do. Paste the image in, make this thing 1 inch thickness, or size 1 thickness, whatever it stands for. We're going to import it into the game, and then here's your piece. Right, that's it. This piece here, I turned into the mast of these ships. There's 3 of them there. I just used the same piece. I didn't use a different piece. But here's how you do it. If you go to your gizmo and you go over to the volume scale one, you can click on this thing and it'll start giving it volume. And I just grabbed on it and pulled it up. Now I did do a weird thing. When I grabbed it and pulled it up, it moved it up to a certain level and then pulled the bottom up. It's not doing it now, but it did do that, so that it ended up looking, when I pulled it up, it ended up resizing and just doing this. So in order to fix that, I just drag this all the way down, and then you just drop it in the ground and you're done. And there I have a giant hole. So if I lock that in place, and if you right click on a thing while it's locked in place, you can use plus or minus. Ooh, look at that. Don't see what I mean? I don't know why I did that, but maybe it's because I scaled the size. So what I would do first then is shrink it so that it fits. Is this circle, when you look down here, you can't see the circle that it sits over top of. You can't see the mass piece there. You can, however, see it better on this one if I get some of this junk out of the way. Right, you see how it's sitting there? So if I F8 this thing, and I grab this and I just sort of pull this over a little bit, you know, you want it to hide. It might be off on this side now, so maybe that one needs to be a bit bigger. If I F8 and I hit plus, yeah. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to unlock this piece and just let it fall. That's where it should sit. And then I'm going to just click on it and hit the plus until it covers up the base on either side, like so. Then I'm going to lock it in place, and now that it's covered the base and it's locked in position, now I will get my volume scale out, and then it's the green tab. You got to remember which one it is, because when you sort of pan away, you're going to lose track. So the blue one is to make it wider. I want the green one. But what I want to do is I want to be far enough out that I can sort of get a side view of the masts. You see how they're not quite the same height? And then I'm just going to try and grab the green one pull it up a little bit. Now I'll zoom out. And I just want this to be relatively close in height to these ones. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that's it. And then I have my masts. You can see the back, how it sits on there. The shadows and stuff like that actually completely line up with it, so that's actually pretty sweet. What else did I do? I put on the steering wheel. Why do I not know what the freaking steering wheel of a boat is called? But there's the wheel for that. These boxes, barrels, and sacks you can find pretty much anywhere. And then this is just a cutout piece, right? It's just a third layer. Let me readjust my annoying chair. So, what I have to do now, or what I'm going to do now, I'll spin you over to this side. I cut out this rail here as well. You see how you can kind of see what's going on right there? So if I F8 this sucker, and I just nudge it a little bit to the side, I want that line there to disappear, because that sort of throws me off when I'm looking at it. But I need it to not show up on this side, and now it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to volume this one as well. And I'm just going to tug on this a little bit so that it covers the outside. Nope, that did not work. Do not like. Let's shrink this up. Okay, that's better, and it's a little off on that side, so I could probably scooch it back and shrink it a little bit. But that's just being a little finicky, which is kind of like a thing that I found out that is actually pretty interesting, that what happens there. It's not making it any better. Right click, minus. Yeah, I want it to be solid black. I think that looks the best, because when you're looking at it, but here's the problem. Now it's too small. Okay, plus it is. I need it to cover up all the markings. It's going to have to sit like that. That's all there is to it. So what I was saying is, or what I had found out, I listened to an interesting podcast. And the podcast basically said, when you're working on things, projects, or whatever, it doesn't really matter what they are, but the closer that you get to the end, the more you do micromanaging details, like this barrel. You know, this barrel was fine when I set it there, but now that I'm sort of ending the project, I want it to be better than just okay. Like I want, you know, I'm starting to fine tune everything. The closer you get to the end, the more you sort of dive into the little bits and start micromanaging things. I could put barrels under here in the sacks and stuff, but I don't think I'm going to, because I don't think it'll make sense. If I hit copy and I go Control V and then unlock this barrel, I can lock it in place and shrink it down into the ground like so, and then just scooch it in here, so it should sit something like that. But I don't know if that really gives you the effect that it's under the stairs. Maybe if I put another one there. Let's try this. This barrel here, F8, gives me the height of this barrel, which is at 186. So I'm going to put this one at the same height so that they look the same, and then I'll just move it into position using this. And oh yeah, there goes the dog. He's got to bark his stupid head off. He hasn't said a word all morning. All right, cool. So that's actually not too bad. I do have a sack around here somewhere that I've been using. Sometimes I leave parts laying around. Here we go. Control C. There's some parts over there, just so that they're, you know, you don't always have to copy and move them around. Let's lock this in place and move this over here. Slide this right into the front. Right click, let's make it a little bit bigger, and then also shrink it into the ground so that it has that look like like it belongs there a little bit. I'm going to cut out some handrails for that later on here, but so far the boat's not looking too bad. I put some mist in because it's part of the adventure. And then coming along quite nicely. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Do not need. That can go. My miniatures, when I play in TTS, are scaled to 2, 2, and 2. The reason I do these guys at 2 is because if you're fighting smaller creatures like kobolds, this kobold is locked. Excuse me. You can see that the kobold, which should be smaller, is smaller. And how I do that is I just scale my regular guys to 2, and I scale these guys to 1. So if I put this guy at a scale of 1 to 1 to 1, oops, I missed on the top part. Right? This looks dumb. So he needs to be bigger, obviously, because he is a bigger dude. So he should be 2, 2, 2. And then he looks actually like proportionately the right size to this guy. They actually look like they should go like this, so they actually look like they're looking at one another. Huh? Aha! On guard, you fool kobold. I will kill you, or my name is not Reevsar Testain. Whatever my name is, I don't know. But I will smash you with my cheap, chintzy, crooked blade of doom. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Okay, so, piecing some stuff together. I'm going to put on this piece here. So how I put that piece there on, go to my right monitor. Like I said, I've already taken the time to cut out all the pieces. Here's the piece I need. Right click, copy image address, back over to Tabletop Simulator. Inside TTS, we are going to go to Objects, Components, Custom Token. Right click, Control V, paste the image in there, change this to 1, and merge distance basically says how accurate it will try to trace your image. Lower equals more accurate and expensive, and higher equals less accurate. So we want to move this down because I want this to be a detail piece. Here's my detail piece, and it goes over here like so. And now that it's in sort of where it needs to be, I'm going to lock this in place, and I'm just going to fiddle with it to get it to where I want it to go. So it should be something like that. And trying to get it to cover the floor. So it looks like it might be a little bit too long. But that's okay, because if I just F8 and go to volume scale, I should be able to drag this piece so that it covers the back end. Sometimes they don't quite work out right, and this is what you end up doing. So I'm going to do this a little bit more. I want to hide that. I want to get rid of that line, that white line from the top deck there, so that it actually sort of looks dark beyond what's going on there. And then I can also just do the same thing here. If I click this and I hit volume scale, I should be able just to pull on this a little bit. See, I mean, this is like micromanaging details and stuff. But that looks good. I like the position of that. That looks fantastic. That actually looks like there's a, you know, a piece that goes down, sort of like similar to this one. And I'm good with that. Yes, do not mind that at all. Okay. There is a piece in here, and I have cut it out. I believe I've cut it out. If I haven't cut it out, no, I don't see it. Maybe I can just use this other piece. Let's try this. Just go back into game. Right click this piece, and I'm going to hit copy. Control V. Unlock it. And I'm going to turn it around. And the piece should go here somewhere. But I don't really know if I'm going to leave this in because of the way that it looks. It's just a little bit, like, because it's a solid piece. And this piece is actually supposed to be right click. No, I right clicked a different thing. Let's shrink this up a little bit, see if I can't get it to the right size. So something like that. No, it's still way too big. 2, 3, 4 more times. That's going to be too small. And then if I click on this, we're going to have to move it sideways. Just a little bit of guessing. Sounds like somebody is here. So that looks a bit too small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and hit the plus twice. That looks like it covers it up, and that looks like it covers it up. So if we go F8 and smash the volume key, I should now be able to bring this up so that it's a little taller. Just don't know if I like the idea of the way that that looks. Come on, up you go. Bury that down in the ground somewhere. This piece just does not want to cooperate. Well, let's just keep fiddle farting around with it and see what happens. I think what I need to do is make it smaller and put in like little poles or something so that it makes sense as a top rail instead of the way that it is now, because essentially that's what it is. It's just a top rail. Right click, custom. Let's shrink the thickness of this thing down to 20. I think I can cheat. Right? That makes a little bit more sense. Now you can see it on the bottom though. But I think that makes a little bit more sense. If I right click on this and I hit copy, and I control V this sucker, I should be able to take this, shrink it down, and take this little piece here and sort of scooch it in the end, like so. Lock it in place, F8. Of course, somebody's coming downstairs. Wow. All right. Okay, I'm going to end this video here because I think my wife's coming down and she'll want to chat.